So as I was saying, you were never taught about the missiles and the microchip as the mark of the beast, and the missiles, being, a fiery flying serpent, as it is written in a parable in scriptures. But these are the things that are being revealed, starting out with the elders, but the elders learned from men who taught them, right? It was a generational thing passed on from the slavery unto Abba Bivens, who really where the truth really manifested in New York City, in America, Babylon. All right, so Yahweh Shai said, "Hey, John the Baptist was Elijah or Elias," which is the Greek way of saying it. So we'll start at 14 again. Matthew 11 and 14. "For if ye will receive it, this is which was for to come. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear." And it's speaking about John the Baptist, right? Because that's what it's talking about in Matthew chapter 11. So he says, "He that hath ears to hear, let him hear." Right? So it's a parable. If you're not diligent and if you're not looking at the precepts, you're not going to understand that John the Baptist indeed was Elijah the prophet. Right? And in the same fashion that John prepared the way for Yahushai, so are the prophets on the streets today in America, Babylon. We're preparing the way for Yahushai because we're pushing his true doctrine. Well, Yahweh's doctrine, but it's Yahushai who's going to return and visit the earth, right? Via those chariots. And there's going to be great destruction and deliverance in that last day. So, really quick, I'm going to go to Malachi 4, and we'll start at 4. We can go to 5. It says, Malachi 4 and 5, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite thee with the earth with a curse." Okay, so even the prophet Malachi was saying, hey, Yahweh is going to send Elijah the prophet first to prepare the way for the coming of Yahushai, right? So first, John was on the earth baptizing and preparing the way for Yahushai, and then through the regeneration, verse 5, it's speaking about Abba Bivens, who was brought back in the flesh, as first he was Elijah, then John the Baptist, then Abba Bivens, right? So Elijah, and John the Baptist and Abba Bivens were the same soul coming back. And Abba Bivens did it, what verse 6 says. "He shall turn the heart," which means mind. So I'm going to read it like that. "And he shall turn the mind of the fathers to the children, and the mind of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." All right? Because now our minds are turned to our fathers. We know who the prophets were. We know they were Israelites. We know they were so-called black men and so-called Hispanic men and so-called Native American men, not so-called white men or Edomites like they show you in Hollywood movies. That's a blasphemy spirit that Esau has. So he's always going to portray himself as the prophets and as God and as Yahweh Shai. He basically he steals everything. He covers the faces of the judges thereof, right? Like it says in we can go to it real quick. Job 9:24. It says, The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So if it's not the so-called white man, who is it? Who else covers the face of the judges? You know? You don't see the so-called Mexican or the so-called Arab or the so-called black man setting himself up as God in these last days. No, it's the so-called white man who is Edom, who, you know, the whole world is deceived, thinking that the Messiah appears as a white man and they call him Jesus Christ. That's a lie. All right. So, going on back to John, and we're going to 1 and 22. And it says, They said they unto him, Who art thou, that we may give an answer to them that sent us? What sayest thou of thyself? Right? And this is taking place in Rome. So who ruled Rome? It was the Edomites, right? The so-called white man, the Romans. So that's who sent these Levites and Jews. They sent them to go figure out who John the Baptist and Yahushua were. You know, like asking him, is that guy the son of God? Ask him, is that Elijah the prophet? You know, because even at that time, the Romans understood regeneration and reincarnation. Okay, but now the elite, they know about the regeneration and reincarnation. That's why they keep the money within their family. You know, it passes down through their bloodline, the wealth. So, moving on back to verse 23. He said, I am the voice of the one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as said the prophet Isaiah. He's talking about Isaiah right there. That's the Greek way of saying Isaiah. Make straight the way of the Lord, as said the prophet Isaiah. All right. So John was crying in the wilderness, and the word wilderness, if you look it up, it comes, one of the definitions and synonyms is desolate, right? So this is a metaphor for, you know, a dry land or a desolate land, meaning a dead land, right? And that's what America is. That's what Rome was. And it's because the Israelites didn't know who they were, you know. They were calling themselves Greeks. They were calling themselves Romans. Now they're calling themselves Americans, you know. The Israelites are calling themselves every name of the book except for who they actually are. So, let's see. Back to let's see, Lord's. Okay, we're back to 23. He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of Yahweh, as said the prophet Isaiah. All right, so, you know, make straight the way of the Lord. Right now, it's dry land. It's desolate right now. It's the walking dead in America, Babylon. You know, so that's the job of the truth. The men, the watchmen, you know, the men of God, we're supposed to, you know, rebuke the nation of Israel. You know, we're supposed to teach the Israelites that they're actually Israelites and not blacks or Mexicans or Native Americans. No, those are lies. You know, taught by the oppressor, taught by the devil. All right? We'll keep reading. John 1 and 26. John answered them, saying, I baptize you with water. And actually, you know what? I skipped one. Let me see. 25. Well, you know what? 24. I'm sorry. and they which were sent were of the Pharisees. Right? So it'd be like now if, Donald Trump sent Creflo Dollar or Joel Osteen. Well, more so Creflo Dollar or TD Jakes, because they're actually Jakes. You know what I mean? And it's no coincidence that they have names like that, TD Jakes. Jake is Jacob, Israel. And then Creflo Dollar. I mean, come on. If that's not a mockery of the truth, Matter of fact,